Hey guys, Pastor Rob here. Today, I want to talk to you about the F word. No, not that one. The other one, forgiveness. I don't know why, but in our culture today, we treat the word forgiveness like some of the other F words that I can't say on this video today. You know, I know that for a lot of us, we struggle with this whole idea of forgiveness, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that. And I think the biggest reason that we struggle with forgiveness is because we kind of have a mixed up idea of what forgiveness actually is. You know, in my experience, I've found that oftentimes people think that they'll forgive someone when they believe or they've made up their mind that the person that hurt them feels as bad as the person that had the hurt done to them. So for instance, if somebody lied to me and it crushed me, I would probably hang on to that hurt until I feel like that person that lied to me feels so bad about the lie that they told me that it equals the pain that I'm feeling. And then, okay, fine, I'll forgive them. But you know, one of the things that I've come to learn over time is that forgiveness actually has very little to do with the other person. Forgiveness has more to do with you as an individual. You know, I don't know who told me this, and I wish I could remember so I can give them credit, but since I can't remember, I'm going to say I've come up with this definition of forgiveness, and it's this. Forgiveness is giving up the right to let something continue to hurt you. So if you notice that definition, you'll notice one thing, that the other person's not even mentioned in it. Because forgiveness has more to do with you than it does with them. What that definition really shows me is that forgiveness for me is saying, okay, I'm going to stop allowing that pain, that hurt, that wrong that was done to me, the continued access to hurt me or cause me pain or bitterness or anger or something like that. You see, I think we need to understand that when it comes to forgiveness, it's not so much about reconciling with someone else, but finding release in yourself. So how do we do that? Well, the best way that you can do that, first and foremost, is to recognize the forgiveness that you've been given. Now, for those of us that are around church circles or have what we call a relationship with Jesus, you kind of have to say, well, Jesus himself died for me and all the wrongs that I've caused him, and he died for them before I was even born. And when we recognize that, it kind of changes our perspective because we begin to think, well, if I've been shown that much forgiveness, who am I to hold a grudge or to hold that hurt or hold that pain over somebody else? And then we're a little more willing to start to offer that forgiveness and give up the right to let that continue to hurt us. You know, I think one of the things that I hear all the time with this idea of forgiveness is we think that if we forgive someone, we're letting them off the hook, right? And so we say, well, I couldn't possibly forgive them because it's just like giving them a get-out-of-jail-free card. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to let them off the hook, but I want to let you in on a little secret. When you choose not to forgive someone, the only person you're holding on the hook is yourself because you're keeping all of that hurt, you're keeping all of that pain inside of you, and it's affecting everything about you. So true forgiveness is when we're able to give up the right to let that hurt continue to hurt us. So the only way that we'll do that is if we recognize the forgiveness that we've been given. And then we've actually got to start giving that forgiveness out. The same forgiveness that we've received, we've got to give out. You know, there's a verse in the Bible that I think is really important in understanding this whole idea of forgiveness. These guys come to Jesus and they say to Jesus, hey, Jesus, how many times are we supposed to forgive? Like, is it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, whatever? And Jesus looks at him and he goes, you should forgive 70 times 7 times. Now we look at that and we think, well, that's a pretty high number. But you know, if you study that verse a little bit, what you'll understand is that Jesus is not giving a number there. He's giving an attitude. You see, what Jesus is trying to get us to understand is that forgiveness needs to just be flowing from us. It needs to come naturally. Somebody told me once that we should offer forgiveness as naturally as we're breathing, where we're not even thinking about it, where we're just saying, okay, I'm going to choose to forgive this person. I'm going to choose to forgive this situation. And we're just naturally giving it. That's what Jesus was talking about when he says you should be forgiving 70 times 7. It's not the number that's important. It's the attitude that we should be having towards that hurt and towards that pain. It's a natural occurrence that takes place over and over and over and over again. So how do we forgive? Well, we have to just practice it. We have to make it a natural occurrence in our lives. We can't just make it this big monumental moment where we say, okay, now I choose to forgive. No, it needs to be something that we're continuously doing day in and day out. Now, I know what you're probably thinking. Okay, Rob, that sounds great. And it's easy to offer forgiveness when it's small things, right? Like, okay, somebody cut me off on the road. All right, fine, I'll forgive them. I won't flip them off this time. Okay, but Rob, what about when somebody does something that's really bad? Like they really hurt me. How am I just supposed to offer that forgiveness to them? Well, here's how. You know, with anything that we do in life, we've got to start small. Right? You can't expect if you work out to walk into the gym and bench press 400 pounds the first day that you're there. But if you start small and you keep working and you build up to that, you may get to that point at some point in your life. The same is with forgiveness. You see, we've got to start having this attitude of forgiveness so that as we're going through our lives, those seemingly small things we're giving that forgiveness for, what it's really doing is training us to practice forgiveness over and over and over again. So when that guy cuts you off on the highway and you want to flip him off and you don't and you choose to forgive him instead, that's helping you and training you to have the attitude and the mindset to forgive. And the more you do that over and over and over again, the more you'll see your attitude towards forgiveness grow. And you'll be amazed that as the offenses grow in your life, so does your attitude towards forgiveness. So I want to encourage you to have this attitude of forgiveness in your life. Recognize that you've been forgiven on multiple levels in your life and practice it. Let it be natural occurrences in your life daily and see how your attitude changes towards that ugly F word. Hey, if this was helpful, we'd love to hear about it in the comments below. So be sure to leave us a comment, or if you've got a question that you want us to answer, I'd love to do that. Or if you live in the North Jersey area and you want to come engage with us on a Sunday morning, I'd love it if you join us at Powerhouse Church Sundays at 10 o'clock, and we'd love to continue to build this community. And as always, be sure to like it, share it, get the word out of what we're doing here so that we can continue to grow together. Catch you later, guys.